completely fine and maybe the easiest option. So if we divide by 2, all right, and then we should be able to solve this. What do we do? How many solutions do we always get on these? 2. If you're drawing a graph, where do those solutions go on the graph? We talked about it when we were doing our inequalities. Those solutions right there are where you would hit the x-axis. Remember, so if we were solving inequalities, we would draw a graph. Think of it hitting the x-axis there. All right. What if I gave you this one to solve? What would you do first? You can multiply it all out. You can write your x minus 1 twice and FOIL and multiply it 4. That'll work. What else could you do? Yeah. I heard square root. Before I add a square root, what should I do? Divide by -4, and then we can square root. So all of those are solid options. Probably the easiest one is dividing by -4. Okay, and then we talked about our square root method. So if you add a square root, what else do you have to put with this? X minus 1 equals plus or minus. Now we need to break down 12. And that's 4 and 3. Square root 4 is 2, radical 3, and then what would we do? So we get 1 plus or minus 2 radical 3. So we've used that technique before, square root method. All right. What if I asked you to do the quadratic formula to solve something? What would I need to do first? Has to be equal to 0. Doesn't matter which side everything's on, but it has to be 0. 3x squared plus 4x minus 8 equals 0. So quadratic formula. Opposite of b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So the opposite of b, so -4 plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c. So -4 plus and minus, this will give me 16 minus 96. How would I break down the square root of -80? Can break it into 16 and 5, and we have to take out an I. So then if you break it apart, -4 over -6 would be 2/3 plus and minus 2i radical 5 over 3. Alright, so quadratic formula always works. And you could also choose to complete the square, that would always work. So if things don't factor nicely, we can do that. Are we okay with those? Alright. Let's try this problem. Okay, so our strategy on the inequalities was first pretend it was an equation. So if this were an equation, how would we factor that? Okay, multiply -4 and add to 3 would be positive 4, negative 1. Add 4 back. We get x plus 1 for x minus 1. Then what did we do? If we do that, we get x to be negative 1 and positive 1/4. Now what that means is on a graph, those are the places you hit the x-axis, negative 1 and 1/4. I didn't make you draw any fancy picture, but I did ask that you at least do a number line. So you can draw the whole graph or a number line here. We know this was a positive x squared, so our parabola is opening up. And I wanted greater than 0. Greater than 0 means it is above the x-axis, so it's above here and here. Then any inequalities, we always had to write intervals at the end. So this is from parenthesis or bracket. Parenthesis because it didn't have an equal to. If it were greater than or equal to 0, then you would do a bracket. Union. This would be 1/4 to infinity. So parentheses and brackets are determined by if it has an equal to or not. All right. Are we okay with the inequalities? So what I want to do now is give you guys a page to practice.